Alright, welcome back everyone. We're trying to get back into a routine of making deck profiles. This one is a very competitive one. This is Power Wish, the anniversary deck that came out this year. This is, in my opinion, the best deck that will never see competitive play solely because of how much it costs. I do actually think this is a tier 1 deck. It's just, it costs so much that people aren't they're not wanting to invest in it because of how much it costs. Like the deck itself here, minus the leader, it's like $600, $500. People aren't going to invest that just to test the deck to see if it's good enough. But I think it's a tier 1 deck. I think this deck is really, really good. And there's so many different avenues you can go to play it. So the leader, permanent, you can only play Z Unisons. So no Z battles, no Z extras, only Z Unisons. Which is perfectly fine because all the Power Wish Dragon Ball Rare Z Unisons that came out, they're all very good and you can get their -7s off in this deck. You're typically -7ing like 3 or 4 times a game. You have an Activate main on this leader. You rest him to just search 2 Power Wish cards, which is the best type of front side because you don't have to swing. So on turn 0, or turn 1, your turn 1, you can use this, your opponent's turn 0. It's just any 2 Power Wish cards, so any pieces you need for turn 1 or forward. I've actually saved this Awaken until like turn 3 before to get 6 cards searched that I need. This deck can definitely hold its Awaken. How it awakens is when you have 7 unique Power Wish cards in your Z Energy or drop area, you untap 1, draw 1, go to 6. So you can speed it or you can hold it, which in my opinion, holding it is about the best thing you can do because getting 6 searches is really good. The backside of the leader, auto, once per turn, when your Shenron Z Unison leaves the Unison area, add up to 1 Power Wish card from your deck to your hand for every 1 specified cost on that card, then shuffle your deck. So, for those newer players, specified cost is the little dots on here. So, if, like, say my Oolong leaves, then I get to search 2 Power Wish cards. I don't play Chilai, so everything in there is 2. You can replace them to trigger them. So like if they didn't out your Unison, but like you say you -7 on it, then it dies. You get 2 searches off of it. So it's very easy to proc the searches. You're constantly going through your deck in this deck. Activate main, you place 1 Power Wish card from your Z Energy at the bottom of your deck, not once per turn. Add a marker to a Shenron Z Unison. So you can't pump other Z Unisons like like the Double Strike Goku, for an example, that has barrier. You have to only do it with Shenron Z Unisons. So we only play Shenron Z Unisons. Let's move this over here. Now let's go into the deck. So we have 3 Chilai guided by the Dragon Balls, and we have 4 Oolong guided by the Dragon Balls. So these 2 have the same bottom effect. Their top effects you almost never resolve. The top effect for Chilai says when she's played, you top 5 for a Power Wish. He's a cantrip. He just draws 1. They both have the same bottom effect. You choose them and another Power Wish card in your hand that's not a copy of themselves. You Z-charge both the cards and you draw 2. So what you're doing on turn 1 is you're going to rest. If you say have this in your hand, then you're going to search this, and you're going to search another Power Wish, and you're typically Z-charging 4 and drawing 4 turn 1. This deck cycles a crap load. It's insane how much this deck cycles. You see almost every card in your deck every game. So these ones, you want to open them. I play more Oolongs than I do Chilais, mainly because of the color splits that I play in my energy. I do not play this deck mono. Playing this deck mono is the wrong thing to do, in my opinion. I see some people playing it mono so that they can play Vegito Overrealm. That's not good, in my opinion. That's just bad. But I play Oolong because I like the green energy and the way I have it built. Is the best card in the deck, the Peel-Off. You want to always make sure you have one of these in your hand past turn 2. He's a cantrip. You almost never resolve it. I think I've played him like twice in all the times I've played this deck. You activate main, you Z-charge this card from your hand, and it removes all the specified cost on your Z Unison. So again, these dots, they leave, and now it's an X, so technically these things cost 0. Unisons die if they're played for 0, so everything basically you have to play it for 1 colorless, though. So any energy plays the Z Unisons. Now, fun little thing, if he removes a specified cost, because the X is here, the X is a 0. So let's say there's a weird situation that it does come up where you have no Z Unison, it enters your turn, and you need to add certain cards. You can Z charge this from your hand. I can then go, oh, I want to play Oolong. I'm going to tap 0 energy. I'm going to drop the Z energy, and I'll play Oolong. He'll instantly then die, and it'll trigger my leader's effect on the back because of Shenron Z Unison left to add 2 cards. So that has come up before. It's just a neat little thing that you can do in this deck. Now we play 4 Android 18s. She's turn 2 play. If you have 2 or more energy, you play her for 1 colorless. Auto, when she's played or when she attacks, she searches top 5 for a Power Wish, and she has Deflect. You've got Android 17. He has a counterplay limit 1. If your leader has Power Wish, play this card. Auto on play, rest to 6 or less. Permanent, you can activate its counter skill for free if you have 4 or less life, and you warp 2 Power Wishes from your drop. He's a good counterplay. On-play counterplays are always really good. 2 monkeys. 20k gains critical on play, and then like 18 plays if you have 2 or more energy for a colorless. We play 3 of the Goku. So this guy says auto on play. Give your leader 5k double strike for the turn. Activate main for 1 if you're at 2 or more energy. You just play him. Actually, you don't even need to be at 2 or more energy. You can just play this guy in turn 1 if you really felt like it. So basically this card comes up when you've been floodgated, because a lot of floodgates don't affect the leaders. So you can go swing at something else, they floodgate you, and then you just go, okay, tap 1, play this. Now they have to worry about you just turning this sideways and making it a 25k double strike swing to them. So they typically waste another negate on your leader when that happens. Or if they don't, then they have to lose cards out of their hand because you're throwing 25 double strike at them. We play 2 Zamasu and 2 Goku Black. I'll bust a card out of the Z deck right quick to explain the interactions here. That would be the Zamasu Z Unison. I only play 1 of it. So how this works is the Zamasu Z Unison says choose a 3 or less. So let's say you have this on the field. You choose a 3 or less on your field. You blank it for the game and you give it to your opponent. Then you steal 1 of their cards. Goku Black says you can tap 1 energy, choose 1 card in your battle area that was originally controlled by your opponent, play this card in active mode on top of the chosen card. He's 25k, deflect double strike. Auto, when he's played, he plays the Zamasu from the deck. So the Zamasu is a blocker, activate main / battle, once per turn, he restands, and then activate main, you Z charge the top card of your deck into the Z energy, and you can use the tick effects of this card again. So you'll essentially go uptick, steal a card, play this, swing, swing, swing double strike, effect, Z charge, give them this, take another one of their cards, because you can uptick again. So I do play this just for that little engine. Sometimes it lets you get very active when your opponent's seeing that you're playing defensive. If they tap out for 1 turn because they're like, oh, he's not going to do a lot of damage, you can do that. My buddy was playing Rainbow Gogeta, and I surprised him with a high level of aggression with that play one time. We play 1 Frieza, 1 Goku. You almost never play these cards. I literally have them in the deck as search targets for the Z Unison Goku Frieza. He's double strike, deflect. I mean, technically you can play him. It's just like he's so awkward because like you get him off the Friezas, -7. But then he has to Spirit Boost again. So you have to bottom deck a lot of cards from your Z deck in order to gain power and barrier. It's just not worth it in my opinion. I just play them as cards to add. And then we have 3 of these. Where's the third? There he is. We have 3 Brolys. So he's a deflect triple striker. This is going to go up to 4 probably, honestly. Activate main, limit 1 for 2 energy. You warp 2 Power Wishes from your drop and you play him from your hand. 35k triple strike. Activate main once per turn. Warp another Power Wish from your drop and warp 1 of your opponent's cards. He's just a big chungus triple striker. So I'm probably going to find space. This is a 60 card list, I believe, by the way. So that's why I don't have space for stuff. But he's going to get upped. The super combo I play is Videl. If you don't play Videl, you're wrong in my opinion. This card's literally live on turn 1. If you have 2 or more Z energy and your leader card is red, you literally draw 1 card. So this card is just the super combo you play. You do not play the deck mono to have Raditz. You do not play the deck mono to have anything else. You play this super combo because it's live literally turn 1. You can keep yourself at 6 life for the majority of the game because of this card being alive so early and you searching so much that you'll see 1 or 2 of them early game. Now, my favorite cards of the decks, we got Piccolo Jr., Eradicator of Peace. This is an old card. Some people might not even know what this card is. Draft Box 3 card. It's Energy Exhaust, Double Strike, and then it has Alliance Red-Green. So what Alliance Red-Green says is that I can rest as many red cards, green cards, or red-green multicolor cards. This card gains power equal to the cards that are rested. And that's baseline power, so even if like red tries to neg this mid-combat, it starts getting really huge, so they can't really do that. Then I draw 2 cards when I Alliance, and if my opponent has 3 or more life, I burn a life. So it allows me to get very aggressive very early with this card, alongside his favorite friend, Gohan defeating the demon. So, how turn 1 and 2 typically go in this deck is you open 2 Power Wish cards. Really doesn't matter which ones, as long as you get 2 of them. You rest this to search 2 Power Wish cards, so let's say you opened 18 and Monkey. You'll rest the Goku, and you'll search Chi-Lai and Oolong. You'll literally Z-charge all of them and draw 4 cards. Demon is now live. So you literally love to open Demon plus a red card to charge in your energy. Any red card to charge in your energy. Hell, I've charged super combos in this deck because of how good this like opening turn curve is. It's just nasty because what you do is if you're going first, you literally rest this, you search, you put the Z energy, you counterplay whatever the hell they play. And now that you've counterplayed and killed their cantrip, if they want to swing and generate a Z energy, they have to waste a card out of their hand. And then you're just going to block the swing, so you'll stay at 8 life. The next turn, you'll play Piccolo Jr. You'll swing, rest the Gohan. Now you'll get the Alliance draw 2, burn them 1. That you've just triple strike them on turn 2, basically. They're down to 5. Most people awaken at 6, so that means you're getting that extra hit in early. You're still at 8 life. Probably have 1 super combo in your hand. So you don't even care if your opponents hit you 2 times the next turn because you're going to awaken and go to 6 anyway. So this allows for an insane amount of early aggression. And then sometimes they can't, some decks can't even out both of these early. So they'll out the Piccolo Jr. And if you have another one, you can literally drop another one next turn. Swing, rest, burn them again, and draw 2 again. And then this time you can awaken and you have energy up for defense. So this pair is insanely good in this deck, and I just love it. It makes the deck feel so good. Now, as for the defense, first we'll just start with this. I have a Charismatic in here. The most common unison I'm playing is the Oolong unison. So if you can include Charismatic in your deck, why not? We've got 3 Topo, Righteous Aid, and we've got 3 Dark Masked King, Spirit Boost Sovereign. So Topo, counterattack permanent if it's your opponent's turn, reduce this card by 2. Counterattack, choose 1 card in your hand, discard it, play this card. It's actually not a cost of Topo's the only other card in your hand. Or if he's the only card in your hand, technically you can use him and not discard anything. Just a little fun fact. Auto when this card is played, you floodgate your opponent with the tax of they have to discard 2 from their hand for every attack. A lot of people nowadays don't realize that Topo also taxes leader because a lot of the newer floodgates don't tax the leader, but Topo taxes everything. Dark Mask King says counter attack, Spirit Boost 1. There's no on play for this. So if they counterplay this, this still resolves, which is a big deal because they can counterplay this. So like into the green matchup, it's rough to Topo because they can Boojin you, but they can't Boojin a Spirit Boost. So this is really good. So they go attack, you counter attack, you Spirit Boost 1 off your unison, and you hit them with a Flying Nimbus. They can only attack 1 more time with battle cards. Now, this card, it has a permanent where it reduces itself by 1 for each monocolor card in your drop or warp. And if your leader is a Saiyan, it has no specified cost. So it basically is a colorless 1 later in the game. Now, we have here. So we have 3 token negates. I mean, they're token negates, not really much to explain about that. And then we have the, what do I show next here? We'll show this. So we have 2 Almighty Resistance. So we're a Red Saiyan. well, red leader. We can play Almighty Resistance, so why wouldn't we? This is why we like the colors in our energy. Turn 1, you're typically charging a red. Turn 2, you're typically charging a green, or vice versa, it doesn't really matter. Turn 3 plus, you're trying to get 1 yellow in there, and then boom, you have all your colors set up that you need, and we have plenty of those colors within the deck. So, once you get to the kill shots, if your opponent's at 2 life, you can play this, give your leader double strike, swing at the leader and kill shot them. If they're at 3 life, you can do Piccolo Jr., or you can do Broly, swing at their life, counter, kill them. Or you can go with your SCR, Blue Patara Fusion Warrior Champion. I think this is the best SCR for the deck. I have a friend who argues that Bardock, Origin of the Legend is better because it rests in energy. And then you can Almighty whatever sparking counterattack they have. Which, I mean, there's merit to that, but this guy typically gets 3 to 4 attacks off that are all triple strikes, because your hand is huge in this deck. And he's literally free. He reduces himself by 3 for every 1 marker on a Z Unison in your field. And remember, the Z Unisons cost only 1 typically, and then you give them free markers with the leader, so it makes them free. Now, we can get into the Z deck. So the Z deck this is the majority one that I play, is 3 Oolong, Split Second Wish. I'll go over a ruling with him at the end. But he's +1 is to discard a card from your opponent's hand. And then the -7 replaces any draws that they have during their next turn that's not with their leader skill with I choose 1 card in your drop area and place it on top of your deck. So he stunts drawing from non-leaders, which is really good. We then have 2 Goku versus Frieza Final Battle Wish. This would be 3, but I'm not buying another card. I've already spent too much on this deck. +1 is untap an energy. Doesn't matter the color. So if you tap out and you want to untap a red for Topo, go nuts, you can. -7, bottom decks both boards, ignoring barrier. And then it searches a Goku and a Frieza from deck, so that's the 2 goobers I showed earlier, these 2 guys. So essentially why I play these is because when you -7, you get to search them. And then when the Unison dies, your leader triggers, you search these 2, and then you have Z charge these 2, these charge these 2, and you draw 4 cards. Instead of just adding 2 goobers to your hand, you get to just get 4 new cards. That could be out of engine shit that you can't find otherwise. We've got 2 of the Goku Accidental Wish. This card's insane. It's a +2 that negs something by 20, so smile at Zamasu players and just neg their indestructibles because nothing's bigger than 20. Thank God. And then the -7 says, during your opponent's next turn, any time that they would attempt to attack your leader, the battle power of the attacking card becomes 1. So anything that swings at your leader, they've got to give a super combo and a 5k to even threaten damage. Unless it's something that gains power on swing. I know some of the Blue Gogeta cards do that, where it's like, on swing, this card gains 5k. So like this will reduce it down to 1, and then the auto will put it back up to 5,001, but still, they then have to give you a super combo just to threaten any damage. And that includes leaders. This is everything. Anything that tries to touch your leader. You've got the one Zamasu. I showed him earlier. But his -7 I didn't go over. You can -7, choose one of your cards, give it indestructible. That does come up into certain matchups. For an example, into the blue matchup, this has come up multiple times, where this card can get Beerus Realmed. You can -7, give Piccolo Jr. Eradicator a piece, indestructible. Now they can't battle trick it. If they're at 3 life, you literally turn sideways, you burn a life with the Alliance, you counter with Almighty Resistance, and then you game shot them on this, because they can't remove this in the middle of combat, and you made it huge. There was literally one game where I topoed my opponent, so I had a topo. I then played the Goku that gives someone double strike, and I had him on the field, and I had a defeating the demon on the field. I literally went rest, Alliance, and I rested down all of these, and I gave them all of their power, so it went 16, 36, 56, 76, 81k without committing another card out of my hand, and then burned them a life, and it's indestructible. They couldn't. They literally just shook my hand without even looking at the combos that I had, because they couldn't do anything. So the indestructible does come up into other matchups, like into yellow, who gives a shit, into red, who gives a shit, but into like blue and green and black, they hate it. We've got one Krillin 18. This card is +2, bottom deck of 5 or less. Almost never play this card. This would be another one of this. But it does have a good bottom effect. You -7. Your leader gains a permanent skill that negates all keywords on your opponent's cards during their next turn. So, for example, I have used this against Green Vegito, which is arguably this deck's worst matchup. I don't think I've yet to win against that deck. Where you -7 and you take away all their triple strikes for the next turn. So it does buy you a turn of solitude because you can't back-to-back use this guy's effects. This guy says after you use his effect, you can't do it. So you can go like -7 on this, they can't hurt you. You -7 on this, take away their triple strikes, and then you play the next one and -7 if you're trying to stall because, believe it or not, 35k barriers are really friggin' hard to deal with if you're a red leader. Then you've got Wish for Universe is Restored. The 17 is a +2. You rest 2 battle cards / unisons. Almost never happens. The -7 is what's really good. You rest one of your opponent's cards. That can include an energy. You play 1 card from your drop area as a vanilla for the game. And then you can't play cards to the field until the end of your opponent's next turn. So it does lock you out of topoing. You typically want to do that -7 if you're going to game shot and win the game. Now, fun fact, you can still Spirit Boost Sovereign. He doesn't need to play himself to do the effect of the Floodgate. So if you still have this on the field and next turn rolls around, if you didn't kill them somehow, you can still Spirit Boost Sovereign them. So that's nice. But typically you're going like into red. If you rest red's last energy, they just die, typically, because you just play blue Patara Fusion Warrior Champion and just start swinging sideways and they can't really do anything. Or if you're worried about blue, you can rest their 1 energy, and then when they Sparking D-Magic, you Almighty Resistance it and just kill them. So, this card's very good for game shotting. Yeah, this is the reason why people can't afford this deck. But the deck is very versatile, can do so many different things you want it to do. The side deck that I have, because I actually have a side deck to show off for this, because it's like, if I was going to Nats, this is the deck I would play. We've got, this is the questionable part, my side deck. I play 3 Bujin, and I play 3 Shu, King Piccolo's underling. I side in when I'm playing against, like, Nova, because counterplaying the balls is nice, and then I also side these into yellow. I literally side 6 counterplays into yellow. Well, into Nova specifically, because fuck letting them have a ball early game. They have like no hand. If you can counterplay the ball and then establish an oolong and make them discard cards, they want to just die. Shu counterplays 5k or lesses, so it hits the balls in Nova, it hits Defending Friends in blue, it hits Oceanus Shenron, which is a very popular counterattack right now. It hits Chaozu and Kid Ku, so it does have a good field of applications for it. But it's mostly because I hate floodgates, so I just play a lot of counterplays. Bujin has every application that Shu does, except he's green and he's red, so sometimes you want to side reds in instead, because like if your matchup you can use Shu instead of Bujin, you like to see red cards early game. So if you open 2 of these, you can easily charge 1 for Demon. And Bujin just, again, for floodgates. It is what it is. I'll play 2 Wolffang Fist. It can be free if you have the Goku Xehanort on the field. This card's really good into the Blue Boo matchup. Everything's a 15k in that deck except for the SR and I think the Kid Boo. Those are the 20ks. But if early game you just charge a red energy, and let's say you didn't see Demon but you saw one of these, and they play like Rookie Power, or they play Absorbing the Ultimate Source of Power, the Buhan, you literally they swing at you and you just Wolfang, you kill it, and they cry themselves asleep. Because they've lost their aggression that they would have for the turn. They can't Z-Awaken now unless they swing with the Unison and just dump 2 cards on that. This card's really good into that matchup. There may be some other choice matchups where it's good into, but it's mostly for Blue Boo, which is one of the best decks right now. 3 Koitakai, because I respect Cooler Mill too much. Can also be sided into yellow if you want, but I don't know about siding 9 cards into yellow. But this is mainly just for Cooler Mill because I respect the deck too much. 2 Violent Rays for Go Tall decks, black decks, Kid Ku, things like that. Good into Green Vegito as well, but again, I haven't figured that matchup out yet. And then 2 Dabura Ritual at hand, just for hand control matchups. So, yeah, this is the Power Wish deck, the most expensive deck that will never see competitive play, even though it's one of the best decks that I've ever played. This deck is very, very, very good and versatile, but it just costs too much for the average player to play. Maybe they reprint the DBRs in a lower rarity in the future, but I hope not, because my wallet will be sad. Alright, see y'all later.